Hello, lovely listener. I'm so glad that you're here. Whether it is your first time listening or you are a returning set of ears, I'm happy to have you here. As I report from last weekend's festival I visited in Berlin, the Wedding Wool Weekend, which has nothing to do with any matrimony. It is actually held in the neighborhood of wedding, which I've learned now. The word for neighborhood is Kiez. So it's Kiez wedding, I think, if I understood it well. And I visited with my friend Angela, which was amazing. We had such a lovely time. I just want to say a quick thank you to Angela for making this weekend so lovely and being patient with me, doing all the interviews, being very helpful. Dankjewel, Angela. Het was super tof. We had some amazing food. We talked to a lot of old friends and we made some new friends, which is always great to do on festivals. It was a wonderful weekend and I want to thank Ruta, the owner of Wollen Berlin, who organized this with her team for this amazing experience. And thank you for letting me interview the business owners, because I think I got something really good out of that, something I can share with other people that are interested in what it's like to run a business in this industry, or people that kind of have a secret dream, or especially actually those that already run a business and secretly want to know how everybody else is doing their thing. So my aim was to collect kind of an overview of how business owners have managed to build their business. How long have they been working at their business? Do they do this as their full-time job? Are they able to rely on the income that they get from it? Is there something that they struggle with? And if so, how do they find solutions to their problems? This resulted in an hour long of very interesting conversations. I'm using a special microphone on my phone, but it's definitely not the same setup as I have here at home. So there's a lot of background noise, and you will hear the person that I'm interviewing a lot more clearly than you will hear me asking questions, because I am pointing the microphone in their direction. Now, I've tried to edit out my voice where it wasn't necessary, but in some points I left it in because the conversation is unnatural if I keep it out. So sometimes you'll hear my voice and it's going to be softer than the person that I'm interviewing, but that's how it's supposed to be. Just so you know, if it's not your thing, the background noise and everything, you can fast forward to the end where I bring everything together in a conclusion. Hello, my name is Saskia. Welcome to Pattern Shift. Are you running a textile craft business or dreaming of starting one? Whether you are trying to make a living or something extra on the side, turning from crafter to business owner can be a steep learning curve. It doesn't have to be. With 16 years of experience in running small businesses in textile crafts and a drive to build a solid alternative to fast fashion, my mission is to provide you with no BS, actionable exercises and strategies in a language that makes sense to you, that you can implement right away so you can organize, build, and grow your business. So don't burn out before you get started. Build a solid base with the help of Pattern Shift podcast and the Jawohl community and its programs. Again, thank you so much for being here. I hope you like it. If you have any questions about anything, if you want to react to this, please send me an email at info@ja-wol.com or leave me a voice note on the website patternshift.fm at this particular episode. And another big solid point I have to make here and ask you is to sign up for emails from me, Jawohl, Pattern Shift, and all the things we do together in the Jawohl community, because this is why I actually make the podcast. I spend a lot of time and have a lot of fun doing this so that I can share what I know for free. But I also have lots of fun things that we can do, lots of helpful things that we can do together. And having you on my email list is your thank you for the work that I do with this podcast. So go to the show notes, sign up, go to my website, sign up there, wherever you want. I love to have you on my list. Thank you. Have fun. I hope it feels like you've been a little bit at the festival with us as you enjoy the sounds of knitting people and textile entrepreneurs. So without further ado, let's go on and start with Saskia Maas from Ovis, etc.
Dan doe ik gewoon zo.
Hallo.
Hi Sas.
Hi.
Wie geht's?
Ganz gut.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you have a second for four
Yeah.
quick questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we should
Yes.
step aside a bit.
Yes. And feel free to help any customers while
Yes.
I'm interrogating you. So first question, what is your brand known for?
For non-superwash yarn made out of natural materials. Yes.
Lovely. And can you name your brand and your own name, please?
My brand name is Ovis, etc. And my name is Saskia.
Saskia. So I'm interested in small businesses and how they work. And so my question is, what are things that you sometimes struggle with in running a small business?
Planning.
Planning. All right. And how do you deal with getting better at planning?
Well, I'm trying my very, very best to get better at it. I joined the business circle and that helps tremendously. Yes.
Cool. Okay. That's good. Now, my last question is this your full-time job?
It is since almost a year now.
Already almost a year. Do you rely on the income?
Oh, yes, absolutely, yes. Yes, I'm the breadwinner of the household.
Well, your stall is beautiful.
Thank you.
Next is my small little interview with Anna from Wundersee, who works together with her mother-in-law as a super team. They design ingeniously folded needle cases from a beautiful sturdy paper and other knitting accessories.
And what are some of the challenges you find in your business?
Yes, because we are both knitters, creative, and we have a lot of ideas. And for us it's challenging to focus just on one product. Maybe not spread all over the place, focus on one product, test it, do the marketing, and then move on to the next one. So stick really to your main idea, to your main position. We talk regularly, like we have a document, with our vision, where we want to go, and we regularly sit down, open this document, and really see, okay, are we still moving in the right direction? Yeah. And what other ideas we have, and how they adjust, how they can adjust our offer,
Yes, exactly. So you sound like you have a marketing background, like talking about vision. Yeah.
I'm coming from the marketing, and my partner, my mother-in-law, she's a designer, textile designer. So we are a perfect match.
What a great duo. Yes, thank you so much. So this is your full-time or part-time?
This is my full-time job.
Full-time job,
yes.
Do you rely on the income?
Not yet, not completely, but it's developing. We are not even 1 year old, and still I think we are making a very good progress.
Yes.
And I'm sure this year I will be able to rely already on.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Nice meeting you as well.
Next up is Sori, who's teaching a short row workshop at the festival, but has a pretty long CV in the industry already. Sori was a breath of fresh air to talk to and lovely to meet her on multiple occasions during the festival.
My name is Sori. Well, my name is Soraya, but everybody calls me Sori. And my brand name is Yedra Knits, which is IV Knits, so to say. I'm making a little twist this year because my brand in Spain is known because I made the first knitting magazine in Spanish. The first one, it was Bellota, what is called Acorn. And then we have to change the name because a long story. And it's called Yedra Knits. So I'm known because of being the publisher of this indie magazine. But 1 year ago, I decided just to, well, not 1 year ago. Yes, it's 4 years now.
Oh my gosh! That's
Yeah. After the pandemics, I began to teach, and I discovered that I really love to teach. So now I'm focusing on giving workshops and so on.
Nice. And what workshop are you teaching at the festival?
Show rows, because it's the thing that I love the most, because you can do three-dimensional things with that. I really love it because it's a fun fact that when I was like 16 or something, I thought I invented show rows. Because I said, okay, if you don't knit till the end of the row, something's happening here. So I feel myself so clever. And then, then I noticed that someone else or many other else have done this before. And I really connected to the tailoring because it's the way you make darts, so to say. So it's one thing that I love. And now I have a podcast that is called Short Rows in Spanish, so Vueltas Cortas. I think, well, I used to say when we do the magazine, like every issue has its own drama. Because when you overcome one of the dramas, it comes the other one. So I think self-promoting is one of the things, because when you are introvert and things like that, it's like something that is hard sometimes. So maybe it's the thing that is most difficult to me. Yeah, I think it's that, like self-promoting and so on.
And did you find ways to overcome it, to learn more about it, to work at it?
If you want to build or grow your business in textile crafts, why don't you join our online community for the small monthly contribution of only €10, which is basically $10-ish. You get to hang out, learn from, and share your business and your personal craft journey with all the lovely people there. Support the podcast at the same time, and you get everything wrapped into one loving package. I would love to welcome you there. Go to patternshift.fm and click community. And while you're there, sign up for our emails so you'll never miss a thing.
I think, yes, like the community, because when you meet people, it's like you get more self-confidence more and more and more. The labor that the podcasters do, I think, is so special, because all this kind of, in the very first time I realized all the things that I have to show to the community, it was in an interview. I had to listen to myself, and I find, okay, that's nice. So I overcome it a little bit.
Do you do this as a full-time job?
Yeah. Well, I have to admit that I quit the magazine because of the rise of the paper. It made it impossible. So the magazine, it was not possible anymore. But now I full-time live on the workshops and the patterns. It's my only source of income. It's a hard work. And I cannot be able to do it since the 4th year.
Right,
to be honest. So it's like, of course, I live with my partner. So for the 4 first years, if I was on my own, it would not be possible. But something that I think is also important to know is that even if I think this is more important for women, but we have also to overcome this a burden
Yes.
of we are super on ourselves and so on. So if we have...
We should
yeah.
have a date and do this conversation for a full podcast.
Okay, yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, of course. Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A lot of fun.
Yeah,
teaching,
you too.
And I'll see you
Around. Bye-bye.
Sori and I started to go into a deeper topic of being able to rely on your partner as a second income while you are building your business, or even as you are running your business throughout the years. This is such an important and interesting topic to me that I wanted to talk to her about it a little bit more. But as I only had time for short interviews during the festival, we decided to meet up another time and do a full interview on that topic and perhaps some other topics. So I'm looking forward to inviting Sori to the podcast another time as well. We will be swiftly moving on with Stefania and Giulia from La Nivendole.
I am Stefania.
And I'm Giulia, and we are La Nivendole.
La Nivendole?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. And what does that mean in English?
It means women who sell yarn,
Basically.
Yeah.
And you are from?
We're from Italy.
Italy. And what is your brand known for?
We just focus on making our own yarn, our own bases with local fibers. We started gathering directly from breeders in Italy, especially the wool and the alpaca or the mohair. And we focus on luxury fibers like the cashmere that Giulia grows in her own farm. We do the undying and or just leave some bases undyed with the natural colors of the fibers.
And how did you find each other?
Well, because when I wanted to start the cashmere goat farm, I wanted to learn more about fiber and hand spinning, and I was still living in Genoa, and I attended to a course that Stefania was.
I was teaching a hand spinning workshop, and that's how we met, and then we just kept in touch, and just clicked.
What would you say, and also feel free to help any customers,
Oh, yeah,
I will pause.
No, it's
what would you say is the biggest challenge as a business owner in this industry for you personally?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Gathering the fibers and having to work with mills that require a large amount of fibers, whereas we are a really small business, and also the yield of the fibers we work with is quite small, so I think that's one of the more challenging because of course there's more, the costs are higher for small batches.
So it requires some planning as well.
In advance.
Not just budget, also amounts.
In advance. And so, basically, I think that's...
And when you... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking,
this and maybe this as well.
but we can go on.
Let's move on.
Better.
So whenever you run into a challenge, how do you learn and how do you proceed?
Well, I think that at the beginning and maybe until last year, we were mostly self-taught in everything that we did, from the marketing to the photography to the learning.
To the milling, the production process,
and
the business.
Packaging.
Everything.
Now maybe about the marketing, and we started to ask for help to some professionals. About the business construction and we think that at some point you need to ask to someone that's
if you want to step up, it's quite necessary.
Even just time. Then the other question is: this both of your full-time jobs?
Mostly.
It is.
And does this have to bring the bread?
Well, for me, it does.
It does.
And I think it's important for people that want to start a business that they have a real sense of how possible is it.
I'd say it took us a few years to reach this point where we can say that because then there are lots of taxes, at least in Italy, so it's always really challenging.
And you see it in a quite long term, because initially it seems everything is proceeding, but then you have to step up year after year, and it has to be sustainable.
It's like a diesel, right?
Yeah,
You just
yeah,
go slow,
yeah.
and then you get moving.
And you see the impact going on and higher as you proceed with the production, with higher amounts of to make and so on. So it's continuing.
But it's still your favorite job in the world.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was really interesting.
Let me just check the mic. Check. The mic. Check. Check. It looks like it's working good. So I have with me here
Maaike van Gijn, aka Breijelaar. I'm a knitwear designer, not for so long yet, for a few years, and I'm at a festival to give workshops and to do a trunk show, which is here, but you can see. Trunk show is that you take your designs with you and put them on display so people can see it, try it on if they want, ask questions. I'm here as designer to tell about it. That's basically it.
Yeah. So you're promoting your work in a way that a designer can.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And so, where can people find your designs?
Now on Ravelry and in books. I've 3 self-published patterns on Ravelry, and I'm in Lerne books and the Neon and Neutrals book by La Bien-Aimée, and several Lerne publications actually.
And what would you say defines your style, your brand? I know it's a hard question.
It's a hard question.
Give it a shot.
Yes, I had the same question from Lerne, so I thought about it. I think my work is quite graphic, and it has like a classical base, but with a modern twist.
Oh, that's nicely put. I would totally 100% agree.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I love your Weervol sweater. Let's say it in our own language so that people know how to pronounce it.
Weervol.
Which means in English?
Vertebrae, actually, but or also like a whirlwind, you could say.
Yeah, cool. So that's one of the most known designs.
Most popular, yes, because it was in the Neon and Neutrals book and even on the cover. So I was lucky.
It's amazing. It's so beautiful. It's really beautiful. And you're very talented and promising designer. Yeah, I have big hopes for you.
Thank you so much.
So, do you see yourself as a business owner at this point? A few years in?
Not really yet. I feel more like a designer, and that's also why I mainly collaborate with publications, because, I really like collaborating, but also they do the PR and make the photos, or we do it together. I kind of like that and focus more on design and have that in collaboration, because it's not my expertise.
Yeah. That's actually my next question. What do you think is really hard in terms of running a business? What are your challenges, your biggest challenges?
Yeah, being like present online all the time and doing PR, and I'm not a person that likes to film myself all the time or put myself on display, and I think if you self-publish you really have to do that, like the Andrea Mori and Joji Gogi does, and I'm not really comfortable with that yet, so that's why I choose now to do it this way, but might change in the future.
Yeah, it's definitely something that other business owners here have mentioned as well, being uncomfortable in front of the camera and feeling the need to be in front of the camera a lot of the time, and so struggling with that. How do you deal with it? How do you move forward, or do you accept that you don't like it and you leave it that way, or do you have ways to learn?
Yeah, I do try to. Well, I have a really nice picture from the back, which I like to send in. But I also try to be a bit more confident, or just, so I do sometimes now go online to show my face, because I notice people want to connect with you as a designer, you know, and also with the personal stuff, like a photo of my workspace, they really like, and I'm like, oh, should I put it up? So I'm also learning, like, you know, you don't have to show my face all the time, but I can show bits of my world or my work practice, which people will like.
Even just your hands.
Yes, I follow somebody that has this account, not showing herself. That's the goal, and gaining more viewers. So that's interesting.
Yeah. You can do a face reveal like at the end of the year, and then drag people to your account. Like, we're going to do a face reveal. It's a marketing publishing stunt. You can do that. I was quite good at it, but I have to relearn it again, and it's really a matter of doing it a lot, so you get used to it. Yeah.
I must say, in like live with workshops and being here, I like that. I like to connect with people, especially also in workshops, because my work is always on my own, you know. So I like to have it come alive in workshops and see people and interact with it. But like online is a bit different.
Yeah. Last question. So is this your full-time job, part-time job? How do you look at it?
Yeah, it's kind of full-time, but not in financial.
Yeah, so you don't rely on it. You can't rely on it. No. But in terms of hours, you'll get perhaps over full-time.
Yes. Definitely.
But also, you just said you have started this a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think only actually this fall, 2 years ago, coming fall, my first designer's book.
It's also been a big peak for you in terms of being visible in all the publications and stuff. While you're still a designing baby, really.
Yes, I'm a chick. Yes.
Beautiful chick. Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thanks. You have fun.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Can you start by saying your name and perhaps your brand's name?
So I'm Cynthia. I'm known under the name of From Cynthia on Instagram. And under this name I design animals to knit.
And that is, specialism is knitting animals.
Yes, I'm specializing in knitting animals, and I devote most of my time to knitting animals and to make other people knit animals.
And you made a book. What's it called?
My book is named Mouche and Friends. And also the subtitle is Seamless Animals to Knit and Love.
Yes, go ahead. Tell me a little bit more.
Yes, it's fully seamless for a very enjoyable process. And to knit and love, because they are also aimed to be used. I like the idea of kids playing with them, and they really become parts of the families once they're done. There is something magical that happens, and from what I can see, they have a lot of personalities, and they take place. They take their place in the family where they are knit.
And how many years have you done this as a job?
I'm in the sixth year.
Sixth year now.
Yes, I made my first pattern in 2018. It was Myrtle Bear. And I kept going with self-publishing and individual patterns. And I started thinking about a book in 2021, and it was published in 2023. So a bit more than 1 year. Now.
And what is your role here at the festival?
I came to show my little animal friends, so for what is called a trunk show. So I came with all the animals, and I'm here to show them to people, to also talk with people if they have questions, and encourage them to give a try to this kind of knitting. And I'm also here to teach a workshop on how to knit a little animal. So it's a workshop where we go through the very few main techniques to knit them, because actually it's really more easy than it seems. It's not expert knitting at all, but in the workshop we are just going to cover the 2 or 3 points that you need to know, and show that you from there you can keep going and knit them easily. You have to have a taste for this, to knit small and tiny. But it's really more easy than it looks. Yeah. And a lot of people put themselves on borders and they think they won't be able. I often hear, I love it, but this is not for me, I won't be able. And it's really not so difficult. So this is what I really want to show them.
Yeah, so part of your job is being a motivator.
Yes,
and motivating people.
Yes, and unlocker of a few
anxiety and fears.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is what we do in the workshop.
Cool. And when you talk about the business, do you see yourself as a business owner?
I see myself first as a creative worker because it's most of my time is dedicated to this. But I also have to think about how to communicate and how to sell, and so this part is the business
Is there anything about that part of the business that is particularly hard for you or challenging?
It's social media.
Yeah.
It's still the main.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say it's still the main stuff. Not because I don't enjoy interacting with people. I do enjoy this, but because it's too busy, and it takes you out of your focus very easily. So you tend to have your mind very busy after that, and it's hard to go back to a deep work or to focus.
Yes.
So for me, it's the main things I'm struggling with.
And so if you don't know anything, how do you solve the problem? Where do you find your information?
Mainly on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm
Google.
looking. Yes, I
Google
tried.
school.
Yes. In France, it's more about the laws. You need to check what kind of status you need, or how you have to declare your
Taxes?
Yes,
Yeah.
your taxes. So that's mainly what I'm looking for as information.
Is this your full-time occupation now?
Yes, as a business, it's my full-time occupation, but I have a lot of time dedicated to my youngest daughter too. She's with me each time she has a school break, so it happens quite frequently. So it's full-time work. But, it's not every day and not every day of the year because of the care I need to
Can you rely on some of the income as part as your income?
Yes, but whether I had a creative job or another type of job, it has always been the same.
To work together.
Yes, we work together as a family, and anyway, it's. I'm more present at home, is a bit less, but it could have been the other way. But anyway, it's always has been this way of having the idea of having two incomes coming together for the family life. Anyway, and because I decided to be present too for my daughter, it's also a choice to have this business staying in less hours than it could be. But in my mind, I think that when she'll be older, it's also a business that you can move up and down according to your needs.
Yes, exactly.
So it's like, for me, I'm working also for the future, and I see it as something that I will have the desire to keep on doing. When I will have more time too. So
when the kids are grown.
Yes. So the idea is to keep going and to keep pushing myself in the limits of feeling a good balance.
Yeah.
Like this.
Thank you so much.
Next up is my conversation with Melinda from Samelin Dyeworks. Melinda has lived in the Netherlands years ago and still speaks and understands Dutch. It's amazing. However, I am speaking Dutch, English, and German this weekend, and this is totally throwing me off. So this is a mix of multiple languages and bad sounds. I have been debating how to share this conversation because she really had some really nice things to say. Basically, what we talk about is the same topics, and Melinda shares that she can't hire employees, and that's what's difficult for her, doing everything yourself, taking photos, doing social media, ordering. It's hard work and it's difficult to do it all by yourself. And she shares with me that when she doesn't know how to do anything, or if she's new to some subject, she will ask her colleagues in the field. So she definitely connects to the community when she needs help. I'm going to give you a little piece of this conversation so you can get the vibe of this lovely, wonderful woman, Melinda.
Ja, es ist für eine Person sehr schwierig. Ja, ja. Und ich will keine Angestellten haben, weil so viel Geld verdiene ich nicht, dass ich das dann an Angestellten ausgeben kann. Und das ist dann schwierig. Also Fotos machen, Social Media machen, Bestellungen,
Das ist nicht nur die Farbe.
Das ist nur ein, okay. Meinst du, wie man eine Firma am Laufen hält? Wenn ich etwas nicht weiß, dann frage ich einfach meine Kollegin.
Ja, die Community. Ja. Ist das Fulltime? Ja. Und auch rely on income, this is your income.
Also alleine könnte ich meine Familie nicht ernähren. Dafür verdiene ich nicht. Genau. Aber zusammen machen wir das. Ja.
Dat is het. Leuk om kennis te maken.
Ja. Succes. Ook gefreut. Saskia, vielen Dank. Dankjewel, schat.
I hope you still got some of that wonderful energy that Melinda had to bring. We're going on with Silke from Funk Fiber.
I'm Silke. My second name is Funk, Silke Funk. And I prepared my brand name out of it in Funk Fiber. I like clear, bright colors. When I knit, I like to play with color also. So that's my slogan, play with color. And I like to play with color when I dye yarn, and I like to play with color when I knit yarn. So it's obviously very bright, colorful yarn. I worked as a project manager for theater projects before, and the development service. And my first education was florist. It's just learning by doing.
Are there any particular parts of running a business that are a challenge?
Kind of challenge is marketing, because I didn't learn marketing, and present yourself and your products. That's quite something I slowly grow into.
How do you get your information?
Good question. I have to think about it. Mostly I take a break and do something totally different to get the mind free.
Yes.
I ask people what they are doing. I ask colleagues, other yarn dyers sometimes. And these markets are perfectly for exchanging. And
do you get enough time to hang out with the other people?
Yeah, I mean, we have a day to prepare all these, and you have all these little chit-chatters in between. Yeah, and people don't take it so serious. I mean, many people, not knitters, not yarn lovers, they ask me, you're dyeing yarn? Can you live on that? And how is it working? And that insecures you. Yes, you have to always say, I can do it. Super nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Very much.
My name is Nora, and my brand name is Kiezgarn, which is the Berlin word for neighborhood yarn. Right. A lot of my colorways are inspired by Berlin. So,
what are you known for?
I would say it's soft speckles. That's one of my specialities. It's in the same color family, so it's not overly crazy colorful.
So low contrast.
Low contrast, and And right now I'm really into neon-y pastels. So, yeah.
And did you have a business education before you started your...
No. I just jumped into it and, learning by doing.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oh,
lots of mistakes on the way.
Today.
Yeah.
And what are the things that you found on the way, or maybe even now still challenging?
Yes. Accounting. Yes. All the admin things are. I wish I could spend all my time being creative, but turns out there's not that much time for that. But
so if someone gives you €1,000 every month, what would you spend it on to help your business?
What would I spend it on to help my business? So I have an accountant already, so that's not it. Actually, so I would take time for myself to do other creative endeavors, to be honest, like pottery or just sit and knit.
Yes.
Because, sometimes I need to recharge my creativity and that would help.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's a good idea. If you find challenges within building and growing a business, how do you find information? How do you learn new things from...
I think I'm pretty well connected within the knitting community in Berlin, especially. And I just talk to people, to be honest, and see what other small businesses are doing, not only in the textile business, but other small business endeavors, and that really helps me, like being connected and exchanging ideas and so on.
And how long ago did you start?
So 4 years ago, almost exactly. Not too long ago. Yeah, and right at the start of the pandemic, and I started with an Etsy shop, and it kind of took off. I closed the Etsy shop. I went to a different platform. Like I had my own. Shopify. Yeah, so yeah.
It's not sponsored.
And Etsy was fine for to start. Was super good to start. Yes. But as I was growing, I was
and then take yourself seriously as a brand. It's just good to have your own.
Yeah.
So is this your full-time job?
So yes, basically it's my full-time job. I also work one shift per week at Wollen Berlin at the yarn store, which is nice to help with expenses, and also it keeps me connected to the knitting community.
That's great as well. And would you say you're getting enough out of it? Is it?
Yes. So I am able to make a living out of it. It's not much, but it's enough.
Enough, right?
Exactly. So, and it's fun, and I would do it again, but it's. It's fun, but it's also exhausting. So it has two sides to the coin.
Exactly. Would you have for advice if somebody is inspired walking around a festival like this, like I want to start a business?
Just give it a try, I guess. Find your own voice, like your own style. Don't try to copy other people, but also connect yourself within the community.
That's a big one, right?
Yeah, I think so. For me, it was super important.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
your time.
My interview with Jule from Hey Mama Wolf started off with catching up, and then I had to remind myself to actually start the interview. So we already had a little bit of a conversation before we actually started the interview. It was really nice to see her again after 6 years.
Hi, I'm Jules, and I'm the founder of Hey Mama Wolf, and also the creative director for Erica Night Yarns. And my Hey Mama Wolf started with a German wool that I dyed with plant dyes, and I'm not dyeing anymore, but some of the yarns are still plant dyed.
Yeah, great. And what would you say, is that what people know your brand? If people hear Hey Mama Wolf, what do they think about? What's your brand?
Yeah, it's sustainable yarns from Europe. So we are really, what is most important for us is to find
wool from Europe and make it into a good, sustainable product. Try to have short ways that travels from raw wool to yarn to the shops, and I think that's what
I think you were at the beginning of a whole wave.
Yes, I mean, it really, when I began with Heimawool, so I had this idea about 2013, 14 or something, there weren't a lot of sustainable yarns, plant-dyed yarns, or even yarns from Europe. There were only a few companies who were selling this.
Yeah, I remember when I started my shop, I was focused on natural yarns. I mean, that was a big thing before anything else. And that slowly, gradually changed into more
and I'm really happy, I'm really happy seeing this whole sustainability thing and local production, that it grows so much and people are more interested where comes my wool from, and also going away from the super soft, super wash, bright colors, like more, really have different experience also as knitters.
And I think that the palette of the knitter has changed over time. Like we have, I say we, well, I'll just say we have taught them to eat the olives of the knitting world, right? You should try this. It's disgusting. No, try it again. Oh, it's actually pretty good, especially when you mix it with this. And so my friend Angela, always kind of drops in on my interview. Yes, you do. It's fine. It just felt like a very balanced presence next to me. So the questions here that I ask is to get a general view of the people here for the listener. My listener is either you or your neighbor, or somebody that is on a festival and thinks, oh my gosh, I want to do this for my job. And my questions are all about, did you have a business education before you started? Did you?
Yes, I did. So
you're the first one.
So I studied textile and surface design at the Kunsthochschule, at the art school here in Berlin.
Yeah.
And part of the education was also, business development or something like that. So we were taught how to lead your own business. Yes.
That's amazing. And would you say if there's something that you struggled with over the years, what would that be? Something that was more of a what's the word? I always forget that word. Challenge.
Get it all under one roof, because I was always a one-woman business. I had an employee from time to time. But if you do everything on your own, and I'm kind of also a person that is like that. I love to work in a team, but also I have a very exact vision of what I want to create. So if in doubt, I do it myself, So, and that was quite a learning curve for me to see. Okay, where can what are the tasks that I can give to someone else? And also, what I struggled with for the past years until I sold Heimawool was social media. It's this constant creating content, and I love sharing what I do, but when the algorithm changes every 2 months, and this is basically a full-time job, just doing the social media thing.
Definitely,
So,
these two things they come up a lot. Social media, doing everything yourself are the two most important struggles for almost everyone here. And so when you second to last question, so you know where we're at. So when you do struggle or did struggle in the past, because your business is how many years old now?
Almost 10,
Almost 10 years. So how did you find ways of knowing new things? So how did you educate yourself? Or how did you learn how to do things?
Talking to other people in the business very much. That helps almost always. And here in Berlin, I'm always was well connected because I worked in yarn shops before, so people knew me. So that one, and also
My husband actually always was a great support because he went to art school as well. So if I had a question, he always could help me out with doing decisions and stuff. But
it could be a help, but it also can be a struggle because my husband is in the bike industry, and I'm always like, no, it's completely different in the yarn industry. So last question. I mean, you already answered it when we spoke before, but you sold your business to Erica Knight?
No, to Selected Yarns.
Yarns, okay. And my question would be, is your job your full-time job? But yeah, I guess it is your full-time job.
It's my full-time job, yes.
And it has been for how many years now?
With Selected Yarns?
Even before you sold it, has it always been your full-time job, or did you mix and match?
Yes, no, before I founded Hamer Wolf, I was a freelance knitwear designer for fashion companies here in Berlin, and I was doing costume design for films and so on. So, I was kind of in the same business since forever, since I finished my studies, so 2009.
Yeah. And so you were always kind of able to get your income from the textile industry in different ways.
Yeah.
This is it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Have a great festival weekend.
Thank you, you too.
Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to these business owners as much as I enjoyed talking to them. I am going to try to give you an overview now so that you have the main takeaways that I got from this and have them nicely put together so that you can, learn from it or be inspired by it or whatever they mean to you. I was talking to 10 businesses, some of which had multiple owners. So I'm just going to mention that they were 10 different businesses, aka brands. And I've got 9 people that told me this was their full-time job. And 4 of them were actually relying on it for the full income. So not everybody is strictly relying on this business as their full income. They usually also had a second income in the household. Something that came up more as kind of an afterthought to these interviews. And it's always kind of a little bit of a personal thing that people don't always feel comfortable talking about. And some of them actually really do, is the fact that a lot of households have 2 incomes. And running a business in this industry, it's a lot of hard work. And as a second income, it's easier to do, but it's still a full-time job often. So that's a kind of interesting balance to keep in the back of your mind and think about. What also came up, and that's really important to mention here, is that lots of these businesses have only just started a year ago, a bunch of them 2 years ago, 4 years ago, then 6 and 10 years ago. The one that's 10 years old actually made huge leaps in professionalism. And at the same time, there's one business that started only a year ago, and the owner mentioned that she is almost ready to fully rely on this income. So that is amazing. But what is more generally the case is that businesses take about 4 years-ish to get to a point where the income is enough for themselves to rely on. So I wrote down a bunch of takeaways, and I think one of the most interesting things I've seen is that a lot of businesses start as solopreneurs, and some of them start as duos. And when they start as duos, they already from the beginning have different talents under one roof. And where the people that start by themselves, they reflect back and they say, at a certain point, you cannot do everything yourself. So you have to get in other talents, either hire them for a short amount of times or get them under the same roof in the same business. because people have different talents and your time is finite. So you cannot do everything. Lots of people do that for the first couple of years, and then they realize that it's very tiring. And this didn't come up, and honestly, it didn't come up at all during these interviews, but knowing from experience, my personal experience, and over a few decades, but well, it's been a while, a decade and a half, I would say, I have come across so many business owners that run into burnout, and it's too much. So finding others that can help you, that supports your business, whether that is inside of the business or hiring them to do more practical things, is definitely at some point something that's very necessary to do. When it comes to product development, Anna from Wondersee had this amazing advice telling us to focus on one thing, test it, and only when it's tested and proven itself, then move on to the next thing. As creatives, as designers, we want to do everything and we love everything all at once. As a business, it's very smart to test something, see if it works. And if something works, double down and then move into a new thing. The hardest thing people run into is self-promotion, and then particularly self-promotion through social media. If you want to do it right, they say, it is a full-time job, and your job is something else. In itself, this is not possible. Being present on social media or doing your marketing in general is hard in different ways because it takes up a lot of time, but it also asks for some skills that you might or might not have. So in what we know, it might be a great idea to see if somebody else can do your social media. That sounds weird because it's such a personal thing. But if you have somebody that just takes images of you at work, just comes in once a week to have a little chat with you and then goes out and turns it into social media posts. Think of maybe even a niece that you have that is really creative and who wants to go in this direction. It doesn't always have to be a super professional. That just depends on where you are in your business. But don't be afraid to try out things, because as we also established, marketing is basically simply trying out different things, seeing what sticks, and sticking with it if it works. So don't feel overwhelmed by the whole marketing thing. With your creativity, there's so much that you can do, and you can do it in a lot less time, which moves us into the next thing, and that is the community. A lot of these business owners, as I ask them, what do you do when you don't know about a thing, when you don't have experience or the skill to do a specific thing? How do you proceed? And they come back and they say, I go to the community. I ask my colleagues. And this is such an amazing thing because obviously I would say that because that is the core of what I'm doing. I'm bringing people in this industry together so that they don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. They can talk to each other and listen and hear about how they solve their problems that the other person might have as well. And what is key here, and what I really noticed in doing these interviews, is that sometimes people are afraid of sharing details that they don't want to share. Like, say, what do you make at a festival? Or can you rely on this income? Or what is the recipe of dyeing this color of yarn? But these are not the things that you share. These details are for you. Or if you want to, you can share them, but you don't have to. In the Jawohl community that we have created online, we don't share things that are secrets, but we learn a lot from each other anyways. It's just practical information that is basically available to everybody, but who wants to spend the time figuring it out when your quote unquote neighbor already knows what to do? So I was so happy to hear people reach out to their colleagues for these kinds of things. And when I asked at a festival, do you actually have time to dive into this? Because my question was, when do you hang out with other people in the industry? They said on festivals like this, and while we are setting up and breaking down our stands or booths or stalls or whatever you want to call them. And in this case, they also had a dinner together. There is, however, not a scheduled, structured topic of conversation list going on. It's very conversational and fun, and there's a lot to learn and to connect there, because then when you connect at a festival, you can always, whenever you have a question, you have made connections and go back to these people and ask them about it. With the Jawohl community, what I want to do is make that step even easier. Just you're all together in this community, and you can just post a question, and then whoever knows the answer can just type it in, and it's there 24/7. So it's a whole bunch of colleagues all at the same time. That's enough about the Jawohl community. I just found it really encouraging to know that people are actually looking at each other for help. And when it comes to laws and regulations for specific countries, people tend to go to Google for that kind of thing. Another fun thing that came up is, more interesting is that once you start running your business and you're into it a few years, you realize that you don't really have that much time anymore to do the specific thing that you love doing, the creative part, the designing part. All kinds of other practical stuff take up your time. And it's super important to keep connected to your creativity and to your passion. And so taking time to do this for yourself is super important, to keep your burning love for what you do, to keep that love going. So focusing on planning well and making sure that you have time left to do the thing that you love doing. And planning is also something that people think of as a hard thing to do. From my perspective, I have so many tools that can help you with good planning that I am just itching to teach this to people. One of which, of course, is the bullet journal, but there's other great tips that could help any type of person, whether you feel like you thrive in chaos as a creative or whether you have to super organize everything. There's a lot that we can learn to have some better planning and to have some time left to do fun things with our families as well. Speaking of which, a lot of these entrepreneurs, they do have families, relationships, and their business is not all that they do. So finding that balance is a big thing and an important thing for them. I think the major thing that came up is you cannot do it all by yourself. That is just a recipe for burnout. And I know some people have a really hard time with that because they are the creative brain behind their brand, and it's really hard to let go of some things, but it can be done. And there are excellent examples of businesses that have done that in this report. And the other, the sentence that came up so much was, how did you manage to build a business in this industry? And people say, just learning by doing. That's partly how I did it too. I did have a marketing education. I did have an art education. So a bunch of courses along the way and a lot of experience from doing. That kind of learning is really great, but it also takes a lot of time. So it's trial and error, a lot of trial and error. Whereas I think with what I know now, there is a lot of time that you can skip if you just learn some basic things about running a business. It doesn't have to be hard. It takes a little bit of time investment, some money investment, and then you kind of have a plan and a way forward that is really helpful to grow your business. So for all those dreamers that have been listening and that are inspired, I would like to say, follow the example of all these beautiful entrepreneurs, designers, and follow your passion. At the same time, make sure that you really take it seriously and take care of yourself and learn some of the skills that are needed to keep yourself happy and healthy, and don't do it all by yourself. I coincidentally have built a course that is exactly about all of this, teaching you things about branding, marketing, and selling in a way that is really not all that difficult. There's not a man in a suit talking to you. It's people like you from the same industry. We work together as a group with a book full of exercises, and the exercises are meant for you to do them in the moment, so you don't have to go back and do the work later. You do them as you go through the course. It's a 3-month course. It goes with live meetings. We have a community where you can hang out together. There's work sessions together. There are one-on-one sessions with me. It's basically a short form business education where you immerse yourself for 3 months, do the work, and come out of it much the wiser, especially also because we look at what you need as a person, where your values are and your boundaries and how much time you can actually work. So it's what I like to call a holistic perspective for running a creative business. Super valuable. I've had business owners go through it, one of which was actually also here in this episode, and we just love hanging out together and talking about all different kinds of things that have to do with running a business. Whether you're a yarn dyer, a teacher, a designer, we've got place and space for everyone. And the next cohort is starting in September. So there's enough time to get ready for that. I hope that you loved listening to this. If you want to know more about these entrepreneurs and these brands, I have all of their information in the show notes. Find them at patternshift.fm and go to the latest episode. They're right there. Also find links to full interviews with Saskia Maas from Ovis, etc., Maaike Breijelaar, Maaike van Gijn at Breijelaar, and Cynthia from Cynthia. And let me know how you like this episode. If you have any questions, you can find me at info@ja-wol.com, or at the website you find all the information you need. If you want to go on Instagram, I am @_Jawol_pattern_shift. See you there. Are you still listening? I always love this music so much. I have a hard time cutting it off. So if you're still listening, don't forget, sign up for the newsletter. You'll get all the information about new episodes, the community, the business circle course, all the things that I'm up to helping small businesses in the needlecraft industry. That's it. I'm wishing you a wonderful, wonderful day and hope to have you with me next time. Bye.